Thank you guys for coming today. I'm so happy we got to eat matzah. We got to chat, have a good time, have a beautiful dinner. And I'm so happy you guys are all here. And today's topic is called chesed, which means kindness in Hebrew. For those who don't know, my name is Brother Yaakov. I am a student of Torah who studies Talmud. Now, as you know, Torah mentions to help the poor, widows, orphans, and converts. My Hebrew teacher gave me a book when I was a teenager called The Ways of the Tzaddikims, The Ways of the Righteous. This book, quote that stood out to me, page 145, where it says, "Have our rabbis not said, one who gives a penny to a poor man is blessed with 6 blessings, but one consolates him with words is blessed with 11. Therefore, in speaking, one must clothe himself in righteousness to speak to the poor man's heart. His words must be gentle to the poor one. He must console him, his adversary, and in his fortune, he must honor and uplift him." This lesson really stood out to me because I wanted to do better. There was a homeless man that lived under a bridge close to my house by Cicero. And the crazy thing is, I used to see this man every day. And all he would ask for is, "Do you have a spare change or some money you can give?" And I said no. I was like about 12, 13-year-old boy, teenager from Chicago. And I would walk by him. But after learning this, I felt I got to do something different. I have to do a mitzvah, a commandment. One day I took the courage to talk to this homeless man. And I said, "Hey, how you doing?" I introduced myself. "My name is Yaakov. What's your name?" He goes, "My name is Louis. Nice to meet you, Louis." I said, "What do you like to do?" He's like, "Oh, I like to sleep." Me too. I love sleeping. But I have a lot of homework. That's why it's hard for me to sleep all the time. I said, "Look, I'm getting kind of hungry. Do you want to join me for some McDonald's? It's my treat." "Okay, sure." We walked together, and I'm not lying, my heart was beating because I was scared. But while we were going together, I told him, "Look," because I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know if I was going to get robbed. I didn't know if he was going to, steal my money and leave. And I didn't have nothing. I'm being real. But I said, "Look, if the police were to ask us, like, what we're doing together, just say that you're my father and I've been looking for you." He said, "Okay." We get to McDonald's and I said, "Look, you can get whatever you want. You choose." He chose a Big Mac with fries, and I chose the chicken select, which used to be my favorite in the menu because you can get the buffalo sauce, which was fire. So we got that. The lady in the register, "All right, this is your total." So I pulled out my debit card, which was my first card I've ever got. I swiped my card, and I was like, "No way." I did it again, and I was like, "Yo, this is so embarrassing," because I was trying to do something right and invite this guy. Now I know how it is to be poor too, because I don't have anything. The lady saw, the cashier saw something, like maybe something in her told her like, "Yo, this young Hispanic guy wants to help this guy." So she did something in the computer. She said, "Hey, give me 1 second." I think she threw her discount because when she told me to swipe your card again, ding, it went through. So I was happy. I said, "Wow, what a miracle." We sat down together. I said, "Look, I'm gonna do a little prayer." And I was thinking he was gonna run away, but he didn't. He waited until I was done, and we began eating. And I said, "Look, the reason why I invited you here today was because I want to let you know that you could count on me as a friend." He said, "Thank you." He ate, and then he said, "Look, I gotta get going. You take care." And he went in his way. The beautiful part is that I told this story to my mom, to my family at my house, and they started to say hi to Louis every time they walk by the train. Good morning, Louis. Good morning. And it was so nice. The more and more I got to know him, I learned that we're not so different. I learned that he was a Leo just like me. We had the same birthday. I learned that he liked classical music. That music was one of his passions. After 5 years later, Louis passed away. But the crazy thing is that the neighborhood got together and put a little nice sunflower kind of like on the wall, and it said, "Our dearest neighbor whom we miss, Louis." So powerful. Like, it was a beautiful thing I saw because people were coming together and they realized how good of a person he was. My friend back in Chicago who studies psychology told me something. He said that homeless people, they get so mistreated by the public. You have kids that spit on them, beat them up, make fun of them, which is not right. He said they don't want money. What they really want is a companion, a friend, someone they can count on. At the end of the day, the whole world, what they crave is a human connection. That's what we crave. And if we don't have that, we feel empty. An article from Chabad called "What is Chesed?" by Mendel Edelman says, is one of the three pillars upon which the world stands. Chesed stems from the responsibility of each individual to help others in need. Classic acts of chesed, kindness in Torah literature include visiting the sick, helping to bury the dead, and inviting guests. My mom is one of my biggest inspirations, where she loves helping others. I remember growing up, my mom would have 100 people over for Shabbat from all backgrounds, Jewish, Muslims, Christians, and even atheists. But made sure there was enough food for everyone. And if people needed to stay over because it was too late, they were more than welcome to stay over. I remember my mom was like, "Your room we're going to use for this person." I said, "Mom, why are we going to let this stranger stay in my room? That's where all my clothes at. That's where all my things. I don't want nobody sleeping there." And my mom said to me something so powerful that till this day I remember. She said, "Where I'm from, Guatemala, they taught me one thing, that real hospitality is giving the guests the best." You have to make sure that they feel special, so that one day you go over to their house, they will do the same for you. My mother would have people live with us who had no home because she knew it was the right thing to do. She never expected anything of return. All she asked for you is, when you left the house, is to pray for her. Pray for her, to give her strength. Pray that she continues this legacy. One of my favorite people from the Torah that has this gift as well was our forefather, Avram Avinu, Abraham, who was known to have the best hospitality and always attending the guests. But not only that, he found a way to bring Hashem, God, into the conversation with his guests, bringing people to the light. In conclusion, I want to share something from Rashi, who was one of the biggest rabbis of all commentaries. And not only that, he was a father too of two daughters, a judge, but something that stood out for him from his lessons. He shared the question, the Hasidah, right? There's a part in the Torah that talks about what's kosher and not. But it says that the Hasidah bird is not kosher. And Rashi has a question, how can this be? If the bird is called Hasidah, it comes from the word chesed, meaning it does kindness. How can this bird not be kosher if it does good? When you go deeper, he found out that this bird, the reason why it doesn't make it kosher, because this bird only does good to its own kind. We as Yids, as Jews, did not come to this world to only help our own people. We came to this world to help each other. That is the secret to loving your neighbor as you love yourself.